Hello everyone, this is Gamerbase TV. This lovely gentleman here has invited us down to the crypt to take a look at Dead Space 2. EA have set up a lovely little bit inside for us to look at some multiplayer, some single player, some anime, and talk to some of the guys that worked in the game. So let's go have a look at that, shall we?
Let's.
So, if you would like to introduce yourself to the masses out there.
Hi masses, my name's Ian Milham and I'm the franchise art director on Dead Space.
Look at that. Dead Space 2, and of course the first Dead Space. I mean, it really sets itself aside in terms of its presentation and the aliens that you come across, the costumes that you put the characters in. And what was the process you came to really trying to find that different look that, you just can't get in a lot of other horrors?
Well, a lot of time, a lot of iteration. There's no real great secret to it, other than one thing that was interesting is that for the first game, we spent a long time trying to come up with a unique, identifiable look for just Dead Space. I was quite nervous that people would see a screenshot or they would see something, and they might think it was some other game or something else. And we tried to make it very distinctive. That worked, but perhaps too well, because what happened at the end of Dead Space, they were like, right, that looked great, but a bit samey. We get it. Brown spaceship. So our real challenge with Dead Space 2 was to keep that same level of quality,
right?
But this time bring a lot more variety. So I think I hope we've done that.
Was there any inspiration you drew, or was it really like blank canvas? We're not gonna
all up here, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, of course, what we try to do is, as much as possible, look at inspiration from everywhere, films, books, real life, as much as possible, and rather than literally take something from it, because otherwise you just end up sort of very derivative. Try to think about how that thing made us feel. And when we're trying to achieve a certain feeling in the game, we look at things that made us feel the same way. Sometimes it's from a film, sometimes it's from a book. We've referenced science textbooks for things about like terrible biological beastie things that sort of do what we want. Or the dentists. Everybody has their unpleasant dentist stories. So we based our lights on dentist lights, right? The way that they sort of hover above you and feel like an interrogation, and they're one of the things when you've got a job like this, it's not like you arrive at the office at 9 a.m. and then you sit down at your desk and go, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Scary.
Yeah, of course.
And you just sort of try to think of it. It is the sort of thing that's always in the back of your mind. But the real trick was try. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, maybe it's scary, maybe it's not. And once you've tried it yourself, you're no good as a judge anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then new people come in, and you just make it happen maybe one beat earlier, maybe one beat later, until eventually, months later, that moment sort of comes to fruition. And so it's not like I got in a room with a couple other people and then our whole audience of the whole team and then said, right, team, here, team, here's our ideas, and now they're going to be scary and believe us. It's not how it works.
I'm sat here now with Jason Graves, who I could call the music director, could I?
Probably more music composer. You could throw extraordinaire in there if you want to.
Music extraordinaire.
There you go.
And I'll be honest, the music in the game is extraordinary. Where did you get the idea of having no time frame, no real tunes in the music?
Well, it was really about lack of musicality.
Right.
Anything that really sounded like music, a constant rhythm or any sort of harmony or what people would normally consider music when they listen to it, I just threw all that out the window and figured the more dissonant and crazy and kind of off kilter it made me when I was composing it and listening to it. You put that in the game behind those visuals and the circumstances that you put in, it's just, some people can't. I can't even stand to play it sometimes because it just gets so intense.
Yeah, it does. When you see people playing the game, is there any part that you're kind of like, this is really where I step up my game? The spin is at its maximum spinning. I've got it all sorted out.
I'll have to cheat a little bit and say there are two aspects. One is the game has more action in it, and I really like the way the action cues turned out because they sound scary, but they have a lot more drive to them. And I almost kind of thought of it as like a prize fighter who, you know, the first Dead Space was kind of like this the whole time as far as the music went, and I wanted it to be more like bam, and then wait a minute, and then right when you least expect it, bam! So it was like a push and a pull, right? And the fact that you had a little bit of time to like get over that first punch makes when the second one comes like. And then I love the string quartet.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if you think Dead Space 2, the sequel to what people have called the scariest game in the world, you don't think of like a classical string quartet.
No.
And I love playing against that idea and having some stuff that was very pretty. And like, oh, this sounds kind of classical. This is kind of all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from under you and they're playing all these crazy things. And it's like, what in the world is going on? You know, just completely warp their musical reality.
Awesome.